Welcome in your Real Future channel. Let's start our journey today. Welcome on board.
Level crossing. We have a lot of questions today regarding level crossing terminology, like as what does level crossing mean? What are the main components of the level crossing system? What is the mechanism of the level crossing? What are the types of level crossing? Let's figure all these questions answered today. Level crossing overview. As illustrated here in this picture, this is the overview of the level crossing in reality. This is the train track. Here, this is the vehicle's road, and this is the barriers with road signals. Why do we need level crossings? In some countries, the railway came first, while in others, the construction of the railway divided land and roads where other rights had been established, and they just required a crossing place to cross the railway safely. If a bridge or underpass cannot be provided, what is the level crossing mechanism? Let's think. As illustrated here in the diagram, there is a rail tracks, track 1, track 2. This is the movement direction for track 1, movement direction for track 2. There is a protection signal for track 1, a protection signal for track 2 gives indication to the train driver that level crossing completely safe for the train to cross. This is barrier 1 to stop cars coming from this direction, road signal 1 to give a warning indication for vehicle's driver coming from this direction. There is barrier 2 to stop cars coming from this direction, and road signal 2 to give a warning indication for vehicle drivers coming from this direction. Let's run our animation. As illustrated here, cars crossing normal, the level crossing. Right now there is a request for a train to pass. Tap warning signals, barriers closed. The signal turned from red to green to give the authority for the train driver to cross safely the level crossing. After that, the signal came back to red. The barrier is open right now, and cars can move safely without any problem. What are the types of level crossing? Types of level crossing are autonomous level crossing. The activation of the level crossing is initiated automatically by rail contacts. If a level crossing is closed longer as predefined time, it will open automatically. Half autonomous level crossing. Level crossings which are located close to the station area are interlocking dependent in the direction from the station to the open line, protected by the main signal. and in the direction open line to the station as autonomous level crossing. In that time, it will depend on the rail contacts in this direction to activate the level crossing, but from the other side will be linked with the interlocking for the station and will be controlled by the interlocking to activate from this direction. Interlocking dependent level crossing. Level crossings in the station area fully protected by main signals. The closing opening process is initiated by the interlocking. So in the interlocking dependent, both sides of level crossing will be activated by the interlocking, and we have only the main signals which control both directions for the level crossing. But on the autonomous level crossing, we have protection signal or supervision signal in each side and the rail contacts which activate the level crossing in both directions. As we explained in the previous slide, these three types of level crossings. Right now we will take an overview for fully autonomous level crossing layout overview. This is as illustrated here in the picture. This is autonomous level crossings. It has supervision signal in both directions. This is the activation rail contact in both directions. We have protection signals in both directions, and we have deactivation rail contacts in both directions. Here there is road signal, barrier, road signal and barrier, and this is the control cabinet for all this process. As we mentioned, this is autonomous level crossing, but in the case of half autonomous level crossing, only one direction will have the supervision and the activation rail contact. The other side, near to the station, will be controlled by the main signal, and it will be linked to the interlocking, and there is no activation rail contact in this direction. The other one, for the interlocking level crossing, both directions not have the rail contacts and there is no supervision. It will be a main signal here and there, and the controlled, this is level crossing controlled by the interlocking itself. Main parts of level crossing system are signals. As we mentioned here, we have road signals, we have protection signals, we have a supervision signals, wheel detector or rail contact for the activation and deactivation. This is for the activation, and those for deactivation. Barrier from this direction and from the other direction. Acoustic signals, this is attached to the road signal to give a warning sound for the vehicle drivers in both direction here and there. Equipment room or shelter with control cabinet, which control all the process for activation and deactivation of level crossings. Signs. Signs like as crossback or solitaire. This is like as sign is putting on the top of the road signals to give more visible or indication that there is a rail crossing in that area, and you have to take your attention for that. Autonomous level crossing animation video. This is the main parts for the level crossing. This is a rail contact for counting in axle, supervision signal, protection signal. Here this is a level crossing. This is a road signal, warning, the barriers to close, and this is a deactivation rail contact or wheel detector or wheel sensor, counting the axle out. After it have the same count for the activation sensor, then it will deactivate the level crossing to open barriers. Here this is the activation coming right now. You see the changing for the supervision light aspect for yellow and the protection signal for green, and so on. Here the road signal starting to work, close, the train pass, deactivation, wheel detector or rail contact, the train completely passed right now, and then the deactivation for the level crossing. We were done for today. Thank you.